Hello and welcome to the full moon energy update. This full moon is also with a lunar eclipse. And so this lunar eclipse and partial lunar eclipse, I think. And this full moon energy is in Taurus. And we also, of course, have that spicy little Capricorn energy with it, as well as if we've got um that flavored water, as if it's really flavored. And so there's a lot of flavorful energy that is coming in with this full moon. We have we also have, of course, that ring of fire. And coming with the full moon is that it's shining a light upon those and emphasizing the areas of where you need to put your gaze, where you need to really pay attention. This energy is the beginning of a change. It is like the kick in the butt that sometimes we need to get us out of a habit to clear and get us to stop acting and responding in specific ways. It is about action and it is about change, but it's also a hunter moon. So in the hunter moon, it is time to shift into being the hunter and not being hunted. What is always that constant feeling like we have to hide from. There is maybe some shame stories that need to be cleared and healed up. And so what is that shame story? What is that guilt story? What is the thing that you keep responding to? What is that within the energy center of the voice, of the heart, and of the lower energy centers that are saying um, that have these rooted threads that tie you back to a continual repeat habit, repeat pattern, and repeat behavior. And this moon energy and this Taurus energy is about some sense of come together. Now, I'm picking up Saturn in here, and I'm not an astrologer yet. I'm working through some stuff. I'm learning astrology. But as the energy reads, I feel like as if for those who somehow have a tie to their Saturn and their Taurus in Saturn, that to pay attention to this energy. And this energy may be like the final piece of the puzzle to your evolution of that Saturn energy, that Saturn and Taurus. Whatever it is your challenge, whatever obstacle that you are over here to overcome, whatever it is that has been influencing and having such an impact upon you, that kind of is like the what do I want to say? The um the continual, I guess, the continual thing that stops the progress or the progression of life moving into the joy or into the forward projection of your divine destiny that stands in the way of your divine destiny. And it's that piece of the puzzle that just says, let's pick that out, let's remove that, let's get that out now. And it's not only for those who have that, but it just feels like there's an emphasis to that right now, is what I'm picking up and feeling. But there is some big shifts, and these big shifts are then going to see the impact and the effects in big ways in March. Like I have a sense of March bringing about some changes. There, of course, this is when we meet, because it's endings. It's like there's a lot of uh, death of there's a lot of death tied around this period of time as well, because there has to be endings to have new beginnings. And in order to have new beginnings, so you may find yourself at the end of a challenge in a relationship. You may find yourself at the end of a relationship. You may find yourself going through the end of the relationship with your old self, with old habits, whatever it may be. But it is as if we are dealing with the black hole, and as if we get sucked into that black hole. We get sucked into the like the hero's journey. We get sucked into the end of a cycle. We get sucked in, and who we are on the other side and how we come out is never the same. It never comes back the same. And so whenever you've gone through, let me put it this way, if you've been going through some sort of awakening, ascension, changes in your life, there will, or you go through grief. You've been traveling through grief. The people who always wait, like they're uncomfortable with who you are during those processes. They don't want to be around you. They run away, or they avoid being around you. They're always waiting for the old version of you to return. So as they stand waiting for the old version, it means they're sitting in your past. They're sitting in the past. You're coming out on the other side in the now and what is to be. So in the future, you're coming out as the future. You're coming out as what the future needs you to be, what you need for your future. And so you're looking around thinking, where's that person? Where's my person? Where's my people? How come they're not there? Why are they not in my life? Why are they? Where are they? I thought they'd be here cheering me on and just celebrating. And they're not there because they don't recognize you. They don't recognize who you are. They don't recognize the energy. There's no longer the energetic connection. There's no longer the threads that bond and that would give you the bond and connection you would have made because you've changed. And so there's a new you that's walking out and as if you can walk right past and you will not recognize them. So that ties into a lot of the old narratives of old energy, old repayments, old things that would have been over here, is that a new you is not responsible for the old self. What happened in the past is now cleared. And so there is a clearing, a release, done. So you're not recognized, but you're also done. You're also done trying to make up for, trying to live from trying to be better than, trying to do better than what you were or what you had happening in the past. So this self can begin to walk with a new sense of renewal of energy, a new sense of being, but also then a beginner mind. Where do I go from here? Who am I on the other side of this? And this is where you begin to walk the way. And so this is where you've been on the journey, having to do the hero's journey, having to go to that place, having to dive in deep, having to find pieces and parts, pieces of yourself, having to break up with versions of your old self. And then that's when we finally step into walking the way. Because there's a shift that's happening within the actual mind itself and the thought process and the wants, the feelings, the desires, the emotions, everything has evolved, everything has grown up. So there's a level of maturity that not everyone, not the whole world is going to get, but that you may be experiencing or that you may be feeling the call to reach into. That you're like, I want to finally, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to behave that way. I don't want that life anymore. I don't want to act that way. I don't want to be chasing this. I don't want to be constantly working at this. I want to be here. And so now the passion and the desire to achieve this sense of, I guess, divine destiny, to your divine purpose, it comes in learning how to trust that the divine purpose evolves when you stop chasing something, when you stop feeling like you have to keep trying to prove yourself to be validated in any way and wanting to be celebrated and cheered on by those who really don't really care because they were happy with what you were and who you were. And so there's always the sinister energy that's always going to be like, come on back to us. Come back into this habit. Come back into the way this was. Didn't you like this? You loved my company. You loved hanging with me. Misery loves company. So of course, if misery loves company, why would we be so tricked and fooled back into misery, right? Back into what hurt us, what causes us to sink down, what causes us to lose the things we love, what causes us to, keep self-sabotaging. Misery loves company. So why would we listen to the sinister energy? It says, come on back in. This is where we belong. You were so much happier over here. We had fun together, but you're not who you used to be. And so that you that once had fun could not have fun over here. And I made this in my writings this morning. This was a kind of a inside joke to myself. And it literally was, yes, when you first stepped into your big move, your big shift, you found the building, and the building was, had a restaurant and a bar, and it was called Cosmos, and you thought, oh, I need to go to the Cosmos, and I need to hang out at the Cosmos. And lots of good people there, lots of fun, lots of good food. But this morning when I was writing, the joke back to me was, what you didn't realize is that you were supposed to be coming to the Cosmos, but you got trapped in having some human fun, and you found yourself hanging out in the Cosmos. And so you're meant to be in the Cosmos. And so this sense of self that has evolved over the past few years, that has been evolving for years, really truly knew that I had to step back and step really into the humanness of life to really discover what were the things that hurt me the most, that caused me the most pain, that were my own self-sabotages, that were my own limitations, the things that held me back, the things that were in repeat in my life and do. And so this was what I've been doing for this, to enter into this space in this time. And then eradicating that sense of shaming myself into a change, beating myself up, being hard on myself. So the same thing applies to you, and freeing myself of that and just saying, I give all of this over. I take a full accountability, responsibility, ownership, and accountability for my actions, for my thoughts, and only what I can fix. What can I fix? And if there's a fight, if there's an argument, you can only fix you. You can't convince or fix anyone else. You can ask for forgiveness, you can do those things, but you can't change the narrative and the story of somebody else's habits, somebody else's thought. Your job, your responsibility is to do the things that you need to do to be better than the version of you that you left going, oh, feeling awful, being left with the doubt, feeling like guilty, feeling like shitty, being hard on yourself, all the shoulda, coulda, wouldas that just are self-destruction. And just saying, I release all of those, and I'm not living in that energy. This is where I am. I'm not sure exactly how to fix this, but I know there's great wisdom. There is the divine essence. And the emphasis keeps coming back, and it keeps shining in this area of my life because I haven't fully evolved it. I haven't fully completed it. Is it a shame story? Is it a worth story? Is it a lack of value? Is it a self-esteem story? And the self-esteem, and where you get that sense of the self-esteem, that perception that you see of yourself, is from the thoughts and thinking and of other people that come out as words, as language, and you believe that to be your truth. And you may hear it screaming in your house and not actually being spoken to you. You may hear somebody being, unkind, maybe being racist in your house. And you may be you may think, well, I'm part this, I'm piece of that, and I'm not good enough. And is there anyone good enough? It could be, anything, any of those stories that you may have heard. And then you have that reflection, and then you're trying to fix up something that was never needed to be fixed up, because there was never nothing wrong with you. There was never anything wrong with you. There was never anything that needed to be fixed up. You just needed to see your true self beyond the language and the thoughts and the words of somebody else, and to hear who and what you are from the universal energy, from the angels, from the guides, from your own divine self, your own center of self. It will be incredible to start to see that reflection. And the way I see it, and I'm like, so everything of the More Than Existing book is everything that's happening in this energy now. I wrote the book years ago. The book came out 3 years ago. And it's everything that is happening right now in this energy. And so this journey and being able to see that, what I say in the book is, when you look into the reflection of yourself and one tear starts to fall, just the one little tear trickles, not the ball that's our release. That's when you can feel you. You can not just feel you, you can feel for you. You can feel for the you that was in maybe your lowest of times. You can feel for the you that may have been, in an addiction. You can feel for the you that may have been, doing something that so goes against your own integrity, your own sense of dignity, your own code of ethics inside of yourself, but yet you kept following that path. You kept getting pulled in there because you thought you were here to destroy yourself. You thought you had to destroy the best of you because you thought that was the problem. And in the meantime, the best of you is in hiding in the closet. And it's speaking out. And the soul essence, your soul truth is now looking at you, looking through that looking glass and saying, can you now see? And it's time to start seeing that. And it's time to start believing in that, but not creating an identity, not creating a persona, not creating another mask, but getting to know it. It's time to stop running from that self and time to start coming home and to get into this journey of starting to discover and stop the I know. If we knew, we wouldn't keep doing the things we do. It is time to start bringing this in and just saying, I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen. And that's why in my works, I share stories in my writings because that's what God told me to share. Stories. So that people can feel something that feels relatable. We don't need another how to. It's not about how to. It's about knowing that you are not alone and that we are not alone. And that there's just so many things that are here to guide you, to give you that knowing within yourself that it does exist. And so this is the beginning. This is the ending, but this is the beginning. So if things have to fall away from our lives, if changes, big radical changes have to happen, then they have to happen so that you can start to step forward, to step into this truth, to step in and just know that this ring of fire that's shining a light upon the mirror reflection in the water energy is showing you, to tell you to look down, to see yourself. In my everyday goddess oracle cards, one of the healings is to not to look up into the mirror, not to look, up like this, I take pictures to make ourselves look younger, but to get down on your hands and knees and put the mirror on the floor and look down into the mirror as if you're as if you're at the river, and you're at the river and you're at the shores and you're on the rock. And when you look down into the rivers, in the ripples, you see the face. And when you look down and you fall forward into yourself, is that everything falls in and you see you. You see something, you see a new perspective. You see something of yourself that you haven't seen before. You may not like it. You may want to criticize it. You may want to judge it. But it's another perspective because it is the you that has been walking around maybe with your head lower than you thought it was. When you have been sitting and stewing in your stories and in your hurts and your pains and making company with misery, making company with self-worth, or with a lack of self-worth, making company with shame, keeping company with guilt, because everyone, birds of a feather, flock together. So you will seek and search somebody else who has the same shame stories, that shame themselves, somebody else that self-sabotages, and that will become the relationships of your life. When you start to hold yourself into a new level of accountability and responsibility, you start to find that you will start to surround yourself in people who are seeking and not being so willing to be just told who they should be, told what they should be, but a willingness to know more about that self, discover more, and the relationships grow. So if you're coming out on the other side, if you're opening up the doors of your heart, if you're opening up that, entering into that new phase and into that new period within your life, and the people you thought were supposed to be there are not there to greet you, just keep walking, because you will meet your truth. You will meet a new truth. There's so many new truths to be discovered. There's so much new energy to be found. There's so much more to be discovered. And there's such an evolution of our own emotional self, the emotional body, the physical body, the radiance of you change, the bliss and joy that wait are there. And this is such a powerful time to embody that whole sense of self and the journey. But of course, we do have to meet the end. And the ends are where the new beginnings are starting out. I send you so much love today. And I hope in some way that this message reaches you in the heart and in the place where it needs to reach you. and that it becomes some sort of relatable, even if you don't fully understand it right now, that in the future you do. That you start to see the essence of there is something so beautiful within each and every one of us. And it's not the thing that we keep trying to force and trying to create. It's the thing that we start to allow to communicate a new story, a new truth, and a new light, a new sense of a connection and a relationship with the light that is within us all. And I do believe in miracles. I believe that we will see miracles, yet we shall exist in a world that is filled with a lot of darkness today, but is also still filled with a lot of light and a lot of love. I choose to be the seeker of light and love, and also to not be afraid to look at what there is, so that those birds of the feather flock together, not in a judgment, not to criticize anyone, but to know that we are all worthy to live our divine life. And I hope in some way that you find it within you to want to seek and find your divine life as well. That's what we have. So if you want to know more about my work, go to CorrieThorne.com. And you can purchase my books as well. The first book is called More Than Existing, and the links are all on the website. They will become from Amazon. If you go on Amazon and you're on the .ca, you have to go into the books, because for some reason you can't find it if you just put in my name. But if you put in Corrie Thorne, in the book section, you'll find the More Than Existing book. It has white on the top. It is not the old version that has like all black on the top. It has a white in the name. And then the second book is My Truth of Existing Beyond Reflection. But go to the website, you'll get the links to both of them to purchase them. You can also purchase the Everyday Goddess Oracle cards from there as well. And if you want to take advantage of so much more of what we have, myself and my dear friend and partner in everything, Lisa Star Francis, Lisa Star Francis in there too. Lisa Richard is myself and Lisa Richard. We have several courses and classes in the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness that you can check out. And we also have some subscriptions that are also available where you can take a whole bunch of courses and classes for a really great price right now, that I've pre-recorded. And if you want to know more about yourself, do the Introduction to the Human Design. That is also in the More Than Existing Academy, taught by Lisa Richard. And another part of this, where Lisa Star Francis' name did come in, is that my dear friend, who's the Word Alchemist, she has a website called Lisa Star Francis. She's the Word Alchemist, and she has this great system where you can go choose a card for the day. And she was in our More Than Existing teachings last night. And she helps us to be able to neutralize our words that have an impact and an influence on us. And sometimes the words that you think that you don't think are bothering you. And she helps you to be able to really truly neutralize those words, so that you have a greater relationship with some of the places where the divine light shines and you may be avoiding, but you need to be able to step yourself into there and trust that maybe the old language that you learned and how you learned about it does not resonate at all, and there's a new way to see it and a new language to get. So that's what you got. That's what we got for you. Come check out my website. Come check out mine and Lisa's Academy of More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness, which is mtaacademy.ca. And also check out Lisa Star Francis. I don't know why, but I feel like she really had to be involved in here today. Much love. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you after the full moon. And if you're in the Lacombe area, you can join me on Sunday, actually, for a live in person at Just Breathe Yoga Studio. And I'll be doing a More Than Existing Envisioning Healing Circle. So you can come join us. Check out the link on my Facebook for that. There is an event page there for that as well. Or you can message me. Much love. Bye-bye.